Welcome back to Cliffieland. This is week and country number 22 on our second attempt to cook the food of every country in the world, and tonight we're up to the nation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina is located in Europe. It was a former part of Yugoslavia. Located in the Balkans, its food is very similar to that of its Balkan neighbors, and there's a lot of overlap with many of these dishes that are very influenced by the former Ottoman Empire. And tonight we're going to be cooking, I believe, a record 5 dishes in one night, 4 of which we did last time. Speaking of which, let's take a look and see how things went last time around. Well, 4 years ago on the Global Cooking Challenge, again, I was just teaching myself to cook for the very first time, and this was also one of my first attempts to attempt baking. Things did not go well. The pita-ish bread was a total disaster. I screwed up on a number of ingredients, and overall it was kind of a mess that I remembered for years to come. So this year we're going to try to fix that. Therefore, let's look at tonight's dishes. Tonight we'll be doing 4 of the dishes we did last time. First off, Ćevapi. I do hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It is one of the dishes that was an origin of kebabs. It's sort of a skinless sausage, normally grilled. We're going to be doing it on the cast iron skillet. We'll be serving that with the bread, which is sort of a pita bread, but not, and it's called Somun. Once again, I do hope I'm getting that pronunciation right. We'll be serving that with a Shopska salad, very basic salad, and Prebranac, which is a Balkan baked beans dish. The dish we'll be adding to it tonight is going to be our attempt to make Kajmak, which is, to my understanding, sort of a cheese, sort of a sour cream type dairy product. We'll see how that goes, because we've never actually done it before. So, brace yourselves. Let's take a look at tonight's ingredients. First, for the Kajmak, we'll need 4 cups or 1 quart of whole milk, 2 cups or 1 pint of heavy cream, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Then, for our Ćevapi, we'll need 1 pound of coarsely ground beef, 1 pound of coarsely ground lamb, 1/2 cup of a white onion minced, 3 cloves of garlic minced, then soaked in water for 15 minutes, then drained, 2 tablespoons of finely chopped parsley, 1/4 cup of hot water, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and salt and pepper to taste. We'll also need additional onion for serving. Then, for the Shopska salad, we will need 1 green bell pepper, thinly sliced, 2 tomatoes chopped, 1/4 of a red onion, thinly sliced, olive oil, red wine vinegar, 2 ounces of feta cheese, crumbled, salt and pepper. Then, for the Somun, we will need 3 cups of flour, preferably bread flour, 2 packets of dry yeast, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 cup of lukewarm water, and 1/4 teaspoon of double-acting baking powder. And lastly, for the Prebranac, or Balkan baked beans, we'll need 1 cup of dried lima beans soaked overnight, 2 medium onions chopped, 1/8 cup of olive oil, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 tablespoon of paprika, 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour, salt and pepper. Well, that's a lot. Note, tonight's cooking involved preparing things 2 nights ahead of time. We started on Sunday night with the Kajmak, and then Monday night, the night before our actual cooking, we started preparing our Ćevapi. So let's go back in time and see how that all worked out. Make a double boiler, placing a pot within a larger pot. Fill the larger pot with water until it goes up 2/3 of the smaller pot. Add milk to the inner pot. Bring the water to a simmer in the larger pot. Once simmering, add the cream to the smaller pot. Add salt and stir once. Simmer for 2 hours. Turn off the heat and let stand for 6 hours more. Without stirring, heat the outer pot to simmer again. Simmer the outer pot for 30 minutes more. Remove from heat and cool to room temperature. Put in the fridge for at least 24 hours. Remove from the fridge, skim, mash with fork, and serve. In a large bowl, mix the ground beef, ground lamb, minced onion, minced garlic, chopped parsley, salt, and pepper. Heat the water and mix with baking soda. Add to the meat mixture. Using a gentle touch, mix the ingredients together. Pour onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. With the second baking sheet, press until flat and even. Refrigerate overnight. The next day, remove from the fridge, and using a pizza cutter, divide into 1/2 inch by 2 inch pieces. Heat up a grill pan, or cast iron skillet. If using a skillet, heat oil over medium-high heat. In batches, fry for 1 to 2 minutes per side and reserve. Mix the yeast in warm water, add sugar. Let sit for 15 minutes until bubbles form. Then, in a large bowl, whisk together the flour, salt, and baking powder. Slowly mix the wet ingredients into the dry and knead for about 7 minutes. Cover and let sit in a warm place for at least 1 hour. Uncover and punch down. Cover again and let sit for at least 1.5 hours more. Flour a clean surface and turn out the dough. Divide into 3 portions. Lightly flour the dough and let rest for 15 minutes. With a rolling pin, flatten the balls into circles 2/3 of an inch thick. Flour a flat ridgeless cutting board. Place the dough on the floured board. Make a crosshatch with the back of a knife and let rest for another 20 minutes. Heat a baking stone in the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Quickly slide the dough onto the baking stone. Bake for 5 minutes. Lower the heat to 300 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for 8 minutes more. Remove from the oven, cover with a towel for 10 minutes. Heat the oil in a saucepan over medium heat. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Add the onions and cook until golden, about 10 minutes. Add garlic, paprika, flour, salt, and pepper. And cook for 1 to 2 minutes until the spices are fragrant. Add in the drained lima beans and combine. And pour into a casserole dish. Bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. In a salad bowl, mix green bell peppers, chopped tomatoes, sliced red onion, and add olive oil, red wine vinegar, salt, and pepper. Toss, add feta cheese, and serve. Serve the salad in bowls, plate the breads, slice the breads open, place the meat in and alongside the bread. Plate servings of the Kajmak, plate servings of the beans, and serve. Well, that was a whole lot. How'd it turn out? First, I'm gonna hit the Kajmak. And again, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I really can't rate it because not only had I never done it before, I really am pretty sure it didn't turn out the way it was supposed to. I imagined it was supposed to have a consistency like cheese, or at least like sour cream, and it didn't. Therefore, it was kind of a total fail on my part. I know I did something wrong. I'm not exactly sure what it was. If you have any observations or helpful tips on what I did wrong, please let me know in the comments. Overall, it wound up tasting more like a nice butter than it did anything like cheese. So, tastes good, texture totally wrong. Moving on. The Ćevapi. That was very delicious. I made a whole lot of it. I'm gonna have leftovers for days, but it was very tasty. My only quibble with it is I would have gone a little more aggressively with the seasoning on it. Therefore, we're gonna give the Ćevapi 4 out of 5 globes. Very tasty. The Somun, or Balkan Pita. I was very surprised that it was actually the size it was supposed to be. I was expecting something flat, instead it was more like a bun in terms of the instruction. Also, as promised, it did have a different texture on the outside than on the middle, which was intentional. Therefore, it kind of worked, even though the size and shape of it didn't quite work out because of my lack of experience. Still, it was a whole lot better than it was last time. Therefore, I'm gonna give this Somun 4 out of 5 globes. I think it would have been better if I'd used bread flour, for one thing. The Shopska salad. Super basic, super easy, super tasty. 4 out of 4 globes. Not a whole lot to say about it. And the Prebranac. Again, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. The baked beans casserole was okay. The texture on the beans left something to be desired. It did have a nice heat, and I did make it a whole lot better than I did last time. Still, I wasn't horribly impressed. So I'm gonna give that one 3 out of 5 globes. It was okay. okay, not terribly exciting. So that is 5 whole dishes from Bosnia Herzegovina. But for now, remember, if you'd like to see our streams live when they happen, be sure to follow us on Periscope or Busker. Live streams every Tuesday night. If you'd like to be notified when these videos are posted every Wednesday night, feel free to follow us here on YouTube and like and subscribe. And if you have any helpful thoughts, feelings, or suggestions on the food of Bosnia Herzegovina or any of our future countries, sound off in the comments. And tune in next week when we head to Southern Africa for one of our most basic yet very tasty dishes when we cook the food of Botswana. Until then, thanks for watching and happy eating!